Comrade Chandrasekhar Bose, the leader of our movement, distinguished leadership of the AIE on the dais, the leaders who led the organization sometime in the past, sitting among the audience, and my dear comrades. It's a great feeling and a moment of overwhelming emotions to be a part of the Platinum Jubilee Year Conference of the All India Insurance Employees Association. I am extremely thankful to the President and his team for thinking of us, inviting us to this conference, along with us, the past leadership of the All India Insurance Employees Association, to be a proud part of this historic occasion. I am sure that we have been invited. We are being given an opportunity to speak to you because we have made a little contribution to the movement called All India Insurance Employees Association. But let me tell you that the AIE has given us much more than what we could give to the AIE. AIE gave us a direction for life, a purpose of life. It educated us about the virtues of camaraderie and togetherness. It gave us the courage to stand up for truth and justice. And above all, it informed us that the entire universe rests on the foundation of love. And that message of the All India Insurance Employees Association is what we see when we walk across this hall. When you comrades "75 years is a very long journey, and all of us who are present in this hall have a story of courage. It is a story of conviction. It is a story of resilience, commitment to build. And that dream is the dream of a society where nobody suffers because of want. Everybody lives peacefully, harmoniously, and in dignity. And that is the task that the All India Insurance Employees Association has set for us, beautifully described by Comrade Saroj. But today the ruling classes of India, they tell us, you don't have the right to dream. You have to accept the inevitability of your exploitation. You have to accept the inevitability of your sufferings. And there is no escape from you from the present exploitative social and economic order. So don't dream. But we say, with courage, conviction, that we will continue to dream. Because a life without dream is a meaningless life. What is life without a dream? It is as good as a dead life. We want to live a life full of dreams. But we know that today we are living in darkness. The sky is clouded with dark clouds. The air is filled with hatred. And the situation is very difficult. But we are also confident that this situation cannot remain forever. It has to change. And the two lines of Sahib, when he says, कुछ और बढ़ गई जो अंधेरे तो क्या हुआ, कुछ और बढ़ गए जो अंधेरे तो क्या हुआ, मायूस तो नहीं है तुलुए सहर says, so what? So what if this night has become dark slightly? The darkness has increased slightly. I have not lost confidence that the dawn will surely emerge eventually. So that dawn will emerge. Darkness will go, and with that kind of a hope, we move forward and we advance. The AIA expects something from us. The AIA has given everything to us, but it also expects something from us. What does it want? The AIA wants every single insurance employee who is a member of the AIA to become a good human being. And that, Comrade Chandrasekhar Bose, is the most toughest task that you have given it to us. Because becoming a good human being is not easy. I again invoke Gandhi, who said, बस के दुश्वार है हर काम का आसान होना, आदमी को भी मयस्सर नहीं हिंसा होना. Not all the tasks are easy, tasks are difficult, but the most difficult task, Ghalib also says, to transcend from man and woman to a human being. That is the most difficult task. And the AIA has given us that task, that you become a good human being. And if you become a good human being, the society of our dreams, the society of our vision, the society that we are longing to live in will automatically come. And that exactly is the task that we must undertake from this conference. Yesterday, Comrade Venugopal was speaking here. He recalled the glorious contributions of our very, very tall leaders, Comrade Chandrasekhar Bose, Saroj Chaudhary, Sunil Maitra, Comrade Manchanda, Comrade Sundaram. He spoke and gave quite a lot of details about their sacrifices for the advancement of this movement. I don't want to repeat that. But I would say, along with them, there were thousands and thousands of other leaders and cadres who made enormous sacrifices to make the AIA great. It is not possible for me to name all of them. But I feel that it is important to name some of them who stood up for the principles of the AIA, who bore the brunt, physical attacks, verbal abuse, to carry the flag of the AIA high. We had Comrade Santanam in the general insurance. Brick by brick, he constructed a movement of AIA in the general insurance. We had Comrade Tanak Shah in Gujarat. When he stood up against all odds, when the Gujarat working class was sought to be divided on the issue of anti-reservation movement, Comrade Tanak Shah, the call of the AIA, stood up bravely, facing physical assault, verbal assault, to say that I am here on behalf of the AIA to protect the unity of the working class in Gujarat. Comrade Venu, while speaking about Assam, he spoke about Comrade Shambhu Datta, but we can never forget the contribution Comrade Achyut Dekam made for that movement. We have Comrade A.S. Dev, physically assaulted along with Comrade Sundaram in the central office, and Sundaram carried the injury till his last, physically. These comrades, despite all difficulties, they stood up for the truth, they stood up for justice, they stood up for the noble principles of the All India Insurance Employees Association, and I salute them from the platform of the 75th year of the All India Insurance Employees Association. In front of me, there are a large number of leaders who made enormous contribution to the movement of our organization. Comrade Natarajan, Comrade V.D. Somasundaram, Comrade Urduvarishi, Comrade Patel, Anil Bhatnakar, various other comrades. I am not going to speak about their contribution because fortunately they are still with us. They continue to guide our movement. Their job is not finished. They are continuing to guide the movement. I leave it to the prosperity to judge their contribution. I am not going to speak about them. But this organization is not made up of only leaders. Ordinary cadres, ordinary members made enormous sacrifices to make the All India Insurance Employees Association great. And that is what Comrade Saroj said. And what he said should be a lesson to us in humility. When we said there was a slogan that Comrade Saroj Chaudhary is the architect of the AIA, he said, I disagree with you. I am not the architect. The architect of the AIA is the dream of the insurance employees. The ordinary insurance employees are the architects of the AIA. I, along with the other leaders, were the masons trying to put one brick or the other to build this organization. But the main credit for this great organization should go to the faith, loyalty of the ordinary cadres. And what a great contributions that they made. I always remember one Comrade Krishna. And if I remember him, I value him more than Lord Krishna. AIA had given a call for 2 hours strike on a particular day. That morning, there was a death in that Comrade Krishna's house. He was a head peon in the divisional office of Bangalore. I was the general secretary of that division. When I was addressing the strike rally, I saw Comrade Krishna standing among the employees shouting the slogan. It was surprising. It was amazing. After finished my speech, I went to him and I asked Krishna, there is a death in your family. Why are you here? He said, Comrade, EIA has given a call for the strike. I came to participate in the strike. Now I go back to perform my duties of the death in my family. So this is the contribution of the ordinary head peon in LIC to make the EIA great. And what does it communicate? When yesterday Comrade Harshad Popat was speaking, he was speaking about the monetary loss because of which the employees may not be willing to go on strike. Go and tell them, give the example of Comrade Krishna, Lord Krishna, that what he said and what contribution he made for the movement of the All India Insurance Employees Association. So, Comrade, this movement is great. This movement has been built up on the sweat and toil of the ordinary employees. Their abiding faith in the EIA, their loyalty to the EIA, and I'm sure that you will carry this message when you go back from this conference and tell them that yes, you made the EIA. EIA is proud of you as you are proud of the EIA. Let us together walk the distance. The path that is chosen by our founders, the path that they traveled, let us continue to walk on that path. Sometimes it amazes us. What is the magic? Why all these leaders, the ordinary members, they work tirelessly, selflessly, day in and day out to strengthen our movement? I do not know whether somebody here can do a research and do a PhD, the EIA should be happy on that. But I do not know what is the magic, what is the reason. And it is very difficult for me to explain. But then my job is made easy by certain poets. Because I love poetry, I read poetry, I read literature, I feel the two lines of a poet communicate much more than 1 hour of my talk on why they work for the EIA, why they contributed for the growth of our movement. Hasan Naeem, a poet, 2 lines he said, कुछ उसूलों का नशा, कुछ मुक़द्दस ख्वाब थे, कुछ उसूलों का नशा, कुछ मुक़द्दस ख्वाब थे, हर ज़माने में क्या बोलते हैं उसको, मार्टिरडम को शहादत, हर ज़माने में शहादत के यही असबाब थे. So beautifully 2 lines. Hasan Naeem. And for those comrades from the south who do not understand Hindi, I will translate them. The poet says, some intoxicating principles, some sacred dreams, these were reasons enough to make sacrifice supreme. So this is what compelled, this is what motivated those leaders. And when they have walked on a particular path, it becomes our responsibility to walk on that path and make the dreams of their vision of a society come true. Today when we are meeting here, enormous challenges await us. And a lot of comrades have been discussing about those challenges. And it is a very thrilling experience when some 10 comrades come and wonderfully and beautifully deal with the most difficult subjects. And that gives you the confidence that the AI's future is secure. There are people who carry the banner of revolt even after us. After this leadership, there are people who will carry the banner of the revolt, carry the banner of the AIA. That confidence, the submission of these young comrades make us. So I do not want to go into all those details of today's problem, but certain important issues I would like to deal with it. What are the most important issues that our organization need to consider today? I feel that the nationalization of the insurance industry, I do not know whether you have realized or not, perhaps was the greatest experiment carried out anywhere in the world. Nowhere in the world the insurance industry was ever under the government control, was never nationalized. It was a brilliant experiment, the nationalization of the life insurance and the general insurance industry. And when you say experiment, you need to also assess whether that experiment has succeeded or failed. And today we can proudly say that we have made that experiment exceedingly successful. What kind of success we have achieved? The Life Insurance Corporation, the public sector general insurance industry, is a classic example of how a public sector institution can make profit, can contribute to the development of the nation, at the same time guarantee, take care of not just the policyholder but even the workers working within it. So that is what the success of the LIC tells the entire public sector, demonstrates the entire public sector. If the public sector has to survive in this country, they must follow the example of the Life Insurance Corporation. We have done enormously well in the general insurance. And why we have the problem in the general insurance is not because of the failure of the experiment, because of the flip-flop policies of the government. In the last 1 month, just look at it. The government, one day it says that we want to merge the 4 companies. The next day it says, no, we want to at least sell 2 companies. You create uncertainties. Uncertainty in the management of these companies, uncertainty in the workforce of these industries, uncertainty in the insuring public. And then you say that these companies are not doing well. We totally disagree, reject the argument of the government and say the experiment of nationalization has succeeded. And if this experiment has to further succeed, give autonomy to LIC, give autonomy to the general insurance, merge the 4 companies together, and then you see that the LIC and the public sector general insurance companies can create a magic. But will the government listen? The government will not listen. Today there is an existential threat for the survival of the public sector insurance industry. There is an existential threat for the trade union movement in this country itself, including the AIEA. So how do we deal with that situation? Unless we understand where the politics stands, what kind of politics that we want. Do we want the politics for the few, or we want the politics for the many? Do we want politics for the welfare of the few people, or do we want politics for the welfare of the entire nation? And it is on this basis of understanding we must build up our movement. The foreign direct investment, 100%, 75%, 49%, it does not matter. But what matters is that a sovereign nation is hijacked by the foreign capital. You understood that the government has no power. The government cannot say that we will stop, we will control you. The foreign capital tells the government, tells the nation state, tells the sovereign country, bloody hell, you open up your economy, you give us the full liberty to come whenever we want, you give us the full liberty for us to go whenever we want. And it is this compulsion that has made the government open up the industries. Insurance. But mind you, when Debashish, the General Secretary of BEPI was speaking here, whether you heard him carefully, he said, already in the public sector banks, State Bank of India, Union Bank of India and the others, there is a 20% foreign capital. And now the government wants to increase it to 49%. The government is still not talking about having foreign capital in LIC. It is not talking about having foreign capital in the public sector general insurance companies. And to that extent, the credit goes to your movement. Credit goes to your campaign. The campaign which resonates with the feelings of the people when you say, why do we need foreigners to come and mobilize our domestic savings? Why? But the government is bound to open up the industry. Forget about the insurance industry. Now they have privatized nuclear energy. Privatized nuclear energy without any accountability to the fellows who will come and operate. And what disaster it can happen. You saw it in Bhopal. Did you forget Bhopal? Never forget. Never forget how useless the life of the ordinary workers were for the multinational corporation. And when you open up the important sector like a nuclear sector for the private sector, you can imagine the danger that we are entering into. The danger to the life, the danger to the living, the danger to the health of the very nation. So this government is bent upon following the policies which today are discredited across the world. The governments, the people are rejecting neoliberalism. And very recently, interestingly, 50 renowned economists, they met in London and they came out with a paper. And that paper said This is a London consensus as against the Washington consensus. Washington consensus is what the government is doing through the labor codes. There should not be any permanence of jobs. There should not be any social security. There should not be any welfare schemes. There should not be any subsidies. As against that, public sector should be dismantled. As against that, the London consensus says, in the given situation today, the state must play a greater role in the economy of the nation. It is the responsibility of the state to create the jobs. It is the responsibility of the state to ensure that the people's welfare are taken care of. So when across the world a consensus is developing that Washington consensus is no longer relevant, a London consensus has emerged. At that particular time, our government continues to remain faithful to the neoliberal economic policies. And you have to fight that policy. But when you fight that policy, you also must assess what is the strength and weakness of my enemy. What is my strength and my weakness? And today you find, unfortunately in this country, that the capital is more concentrated. Capital is more organized. Capital is more entrenched. And capital has become tremendously politically influential. This is the reality. The strength of our enemy, the strength of our adversary. As against that, what do we see? The working class movement is fragmented. The working class movement is marginalized. The working class movement has become precarious. And more importantly, the working class has no political voice in this country. And in that kind of a situation, you need to develop the tactics. You need to develop the movement to defeat the policies of the government. What is important? We cannot shy away. We had to project an alternative and move forward. Before me, comrade, but he was speaking and he was very assertive in saying that socialism is not dead. How can socialism die, comrades? You tell me. After all, what is socialism? Socialism of the toiling people, the kisans, the contract workers, the temporary workers, the self-employed, rickshaw pullers. They are 57% of the total workforce in this country. Without any labor law applicable to them, without social security, without any safeguard, we need to build bridges with them. We need to build solidarities with them and build up a movement, a strong movement to counter capital. And understand that today when we say capital has become influential, I would say, I don't think that my understanding is wrong, the Indian state has been taken over by the capital. And it is those capitalists, 3 or 4 capitalists, who are dictating how our economy should be organized, how our economy should be developed, These 3 or 4 capitalists are dictating the policy and they have taken over the state. And the state is implementing the policies which are beneficial to them. Adani, Ambani, Tata, Bharti, they are implementing the policies which are beneficial to them. And you can even a layman says, you are a member of the AIA because you expect something from the AIA. You want the AIA to get you a good wage revision. You want the AIA to secure your transfers. But if Tata gives 700 crores to the BJP, will he give it in charity or does he expect something in return? When the big business in this country give about 6,000 crore of funds to the BJP, what they want, that this government should frame policies that benefit them and not the people. And is this not a potent weapon to take it into your campaign? And if you do not do it, democracy is going to be dead. And the captains of the industry do not want democracy to survive. And if you look at that, why Tatas, Adanis, Ambanis, they are helping this government with money to purchase the MLAs, to bring down the governments, to win the elections. It is because the capital sees the working class as their most dangerous enemy. And they want to weaken that enemy. And the capital, the history of the world tells you that fascism, authoritarianism never survived without the support of the capitalists and the elitist sections of the society. Example, Germany, Spain, you had Italy, everywhere fascism is a product, a support of the capital, the elitist sections of that society. And today that elitist section sees you as a danger, sees the working class as a danger, because this 1% today is controlling the overwhelming resources, overwhelming the assets, overwhelming income of the country within themselves. And they do not want to let it go. And they would prefer to have authoritarianism, they would prefer to have fascism so that their project can work, their profits can increase. And that understanding that we need to build up our movement. Fortunately, the trade union movement is coming together. 10 central trade unions. The 11th central trade union today is in a dilemma. The BMS. And I am sure that they are not going to survive for long, remaining outside the common struggle. By force they have to join the struggle. The farmers coming together, and along with the farmers, if we can bring the unemployed youth into the movement, that is going to be a big boost to our movement. And if we bring all these sections together, we can defeat the fascistic tendencies, halt it, we can defeat authoritarianism, we can defeat neoliberalism, and we can continue to project a society, a vision that can ensure a dignified life for everybody. Today, every institution in this country is compromised. Legislature, I do not know how many of you understood this seriously. We are talking about FDI. But behind FDI, what is the danger to democracy you are not understood. FDI bill or any bill that is being brought into the parliament are not being discussed by the legislature. Whatever the executive decides, legislature obliges it. They don't want any discussion on the bills. And when you're talking about the insurance amendment bill, it also means that the parliament has abdicated its responsibility and it has delegated all its power to the IRDA to frame rules and regulations. And that is a danger to the democracy. When the executive becomes more powerful than the legislature. How is it possible in a democracy? The legislature, elected by the people, as their voice in the country, becomes subordinate to the executive. The judiciary becomes subordinate to the executive. Every independent agency that was created in this country as a check and balance stand compromise. In that kind of a situation, the struggle is not going to be easy. It is going to be a protracted struggle. A one-day strike, two-day strike is not going to bring about the solution. What is required is a sustained campaign, reaching out to the people, informing the people as to how you are belittled, how your democratic rights have been curtailed. You need to stand up and fight it out along with the people that were doing it. And that is the task that we need to take up in this conference. And when we are doing it, the only weapon they have is to create division in us. When I am standing here, I do not know who is a Muslim there, who is a Hindu there, who is a Sikh there. But the government, the capital, wants us to subordinate our identity as a worker, subordinate our identity as a member of the IRDA to the identity of a Hindu, a Muslim, a Christian or a Sikh. So that by dividing us, weakening the movement, they can continue to exploit the entire Indian society. Sometimes I wonder, am I living in the same country where as a child in the school, we were taught certain lessons. We were taught some poems, beautiful poems. जैसे चश्ती ने जिस जमीन पर पैगाम में हक सुनाया, नानक ने जिस चमन में वहदत का गीत गाया, मेरा वतन वही है, मेरा वतन वही है. As a child I sang that song. As a child I sang that song. What does it communicate a meaning? Chishti is in Ajmer. You have a dargah. Most of the people go. In fact, last time when I went to Ajmer, I could not go to the dargah. One comrade who is not a Muslim, he came to me and said, "Comrade, आप अजमेर आए हो, बगैर हजरत मोइनुद्दीन चिश्ती के दरबार में हाजिरी दिए बगैर आप कैसे अजमेर से बाहर जा सकते हो?" So I said, "Now I have got another program. I will come, and when I come, you please take me to that dargah." I have visited that dargah many times. So it says, this is a land where Moinuddin Chishti, he gave the message of truth, Paigam-e-Haq, message of truth, And this is a garden where Nanak gave us the message and the importance of unity. Wahdat ka geet gaya. And that is my country. That is my country. Can you say this is your country today? Is it the same country that we are living today? That is the question that comes to us. That is the question that we need to raise. What beautiful synergy, the syncretic culture is being attacked in the name of uniformity. This is a country of Ram. Not Ram as a warrior, but Ram as a spiritual leader. This is a country of Ram as a spiritual leader. And you would be surprised. Iqbal wrote a beautiful poem titled Ram. Not many of you would be knowing it. He wrote a beautiful poem titled Ram. And he said, Ram is the Imam of Hind. Ram is the spiritual leader of India. So we don't have any problem when politics is about the spiritualism. When religion is about the spiritualism, when that religion, you want to connect yourself to your Creator, we have absolutely no problem. But when you try to politicize that religion becomes a political weapon, we have a serious problem. And we want to fight that kind of a thing. So when Iqbal describes beautifully that Ram is the spiritual leader of India, we agree with him and we say we consider Ram as a spiritual leader and not Ram as a warrior who want to kill the others. You're going to be killing the Ram by projecting him as a warrior. And about this land, beautifully. Yesterday, I was surprised some comrades were talking about Ghalib, Mirza Ghalib. You know, there is an interesting story. When Ghalib was not getting sufficient allowances from the king, for some time he stayed in Varanasi. And in Persian, he wrote a beautiful poem about Varanasi. And later that was translated in a different way in Urdu. Chirag-e-Daira, lamp of the temple. He described Varanasi as a lamp of the temple. And he said beautifully that Banaras, at that time it was not Varanasi, it was Banaras. And why Banaras? Ustad Bismillah Khan described, because this state is made of Banaras. Ras means mithas, sweetness. Banaras is that it is made up of sweetness, made up of fragrance. So Banaras, he said that this is Banaras. When he wrote about Banaras, he said Banaras is the Kaaba of Hindustan. Can you imagine Ghalib saying, when today we are told, you don't have a place here, your place is Kaaba in Saudi Arabia. Ghalib, much before Chattopadhyaya wrote Vande Mataram, he wrote in 1825 that Banaras is the Kaaba of Hindustan. And he describes Banaras. And he says, every morning of Banaras is a festival. Beautiful, if you can. Urdu is a very sweet language. Unfortunately, that language is being derided today. When he says, Ya Banaras, every morning of Banaras, har subah Banaras ki एक फेस्टिवल है, Every morning of Banaras is a festival. And every evening of Banaras is a fragrance. And when I live in Banaras, I am breathing that fragrance. And I am enjoying the beauty of Banaras. And this is my great Hindustan, is what Ghalib says. And today you want to declare that kind of a syncretic culture. You want to bring about uniformity, one language, one nation, one religion, one election, one ration card, everything one when we are too many. And if you do not recognize the diversity, it is a sure recipe for the disaster and the disunity and the dismemberment of the organization and the India itself. Therefore, our job is to spread the message of this diversity, message about the richness of the culture. And today it has become very important. There are two types of cultures that have emerged. One is a commercial culture, and you see Kashmir Files, and you see Bengal Files, and you see all those in the name of culture propagating the agenda of the government, a decaying agenda, a degenerated culture. As against that, there is a popular culture, and you enjoy that popular cultural program where every community, every religion, every language come together and enjoy. Many of us did not know Oriya. We did not know. But when they sang the song in Oriya, we enjoyed it because music transfers you to some other kind of a world itself. You don't require a language to know music. You must just have emotions. You just must have feelings to enjoy the music. We enjoy. And today that kind of a syncretic culture is under attack. And our job is to create awareness about the danger. So what do we do? Over these 75 years, we have built up the unity. Not just the unity of the insurance employees, but we also made contribution to the unity of the country. Our work in Assam, our work in Gujarat, our work in Jammu and Kashmir. When the rulers of this country abdicated the responsibility of uniting them, we united them. And I am proud of sharing this. When some time back, Kashmir was ravaged by the floods, we had given a call for funds. You remember that? We donated 3 ambulances, 3 in Aramesh, and we constructed 1 school, 5 ambulances, and we constructed 1 school in Kashmir. Prior to us, Murli Manohar Joshi was repeatedly saying, Adani, that we are going to hoist the national flag in Lal Chowk. They could not do it. When we went to Kashmir with this donation, when our ambulances were standing in Lal Chowk, curious people started coming to us, asking us, why are you all here? Why these ambulances are standing? Then we said, we are from different parts of this country. You suffered in the floods, in the cyclone, and because you suffered, we felt it is our responsibility to come and support you. Do you know what was the response? Their response was simple, absolutely simple. They said, "Sir, ये हिंदुस्तान का चेहरा हमने पहले कभी नहीं देखा." We have not seen this face of India. And what Murli Manohar Joshi could not do it, what L.K. Advani could not do it, the president of the AIA could hoist the national flag in Lal Chowk. This was the contribution to the unity. So we can't afford the ruling classes to destroy this unity. We built up, because they made lot of effort to destroy us, scuttle our unity. But our comrades stood firm, defending the unity under the banner of the AIA. And on the 7th Platinum Jubilee year, I'll be failing in my duty if I don't express our gratitude to the comrades of Bombay, to the comrades of Bangalore, comrades of Indore, Trivandrum, Lucknow, who stood up in 1972, defended the AIA against all attempts to split the AIA and weaken the AIA. So we have achieved unity with a lot of effort. And we cannot allow that unity to be disrupted. That unity has to be protected. That unity has to be advanced. And I am sure that you will take that message of unity, message of love, message of togetherness, the virtues of being together, you will carry that message. I have a few suggestions to this conference. My 3 suggestions are specifically directed to the Secretariat in the headquarters. In the process of our celebration, Platinum Jubilee celebration, we found tremendous talent among our employees. Every morning that I get up, night I put off my Wi-Fi because I want some sleep. The moment I open up in the morning, GV's messages will be there, Upper House messages. This comrade has composed this song. From this place, that comrade has composed song in a different place. Beautifully they have composed it. Beautifully they have sung it. And I feel that the AIA must appoint a small committee to make a choice and have a AIA anthem for itself in the 75 years of the AIA. My second suggestion to the headquarters is that we take a oath on every 1st of July. But like situation does not remain the same. That particular oath was written at a particular time when the AIA was sought to be split for political reasons. Today the situation is not so. It has developed. Today bigger problems of communal harmony, bigger problems of economic mobilization have come up, and we must have a new oath, a new pledge for the AIA, and that the headquarters must take up that responsibility to draft it. And the third suggestion to the headquarters is that today we talk about the information technology. The issue is that how the technology is controlled, how the technology is used. We should use the technology to spread our values, to spread our vision, to spread our ideas, and that can happen when we have a website for the AIA. And I think when we celebrate on 1st of July 2026, the completion of the 75 years of the AIA, we must have 3 of these suggestions that I have made, if that is acceptable to the Secretariat. Secondly, the larger issues. We must continue our battle on economic issues. We must start projecting an alternative. At the same time, culture has become a very important tool, and that culture, togetherness, should be utilized to develop the movement. And what a beautiful examples that we have. I'll conclude in 2 minutes. Ramesh, I am aware of the President's discomfort because sometime I was also the President. I know the discomfort of the President. I'll conclude it in 2 minutes. There are certain beautiful examples of the recent days. When we talk about Operation Sindoor, Operation Pahalgam, why should we not popularize the sacrifices of a Kashmiri who laid down his life fighting against the terrorists to protect the children of the pilgrims? Why should we not popularize that idea? Why should we not popularize the idea that when a senior journalist in Jammu, a Muslim journalist, when his house was demolished, his Hindu neighbor comes and says, "You don't have to worry, I'll give you the land, you build your house on my land." You have an example where, because of the erosion of the river, a car going across the river is getting submerged and the driver is drowning in the car. Happily, people were standing and taking the selfies, taking the photos, and one person jumped into the river without bothering about his risk to his life, without knowing who is in the car. He went, opened the door of the car, swam, brought that fellow, and then it transpired that the person who was drowning was a Hindu and the person who saved him was a Muslim. What examples of togetherness we have? Should this not be communicated? Should it not be taken forward? So develop the movement. The working committee of the AIEA had decided on certain programs. I think those programs are still valid. We have passed a resolution asking the government to include 5 economic issues and the fundamental rights. On these campaigns should take place. A signature campaign, a convention, seminar, these things can take place. On the issue of unemployment, we can mobilize the unemployed youth. On the issue of poverty eradication, we can give the example of Kerala and ask other people. And we can also tell the people, look here, today all this is happening because the left is weak. The political left is weak. When the political left was strong, the government was forced to bring the rural employment guarantee scheme. When the political left was strong, the government was forced to bring a Right to Information Act, Right to Food Act. And when the political left is weak, the government wants to do away with all these things. So campaign the importance of the political left, and in the process develop a campaign and a movement among the people. So though the tasks are very difficult, but we are the proud members of the AIEA. We will be able to achieve all the tasks that we have set in, given our courage and given our conviction. 75 years has been a long journey. We have achieved many things. We have progress. We have marched. But today we can't afford to rest. We can't afford to be satisfied with what we have, because As Iqbal said, तू शाहीन है, परवाज है काम तेरा, तेरे सामने आसमां और भी है. You are a falcon. I would say, yeah, he is a falcon. You are a falcon, and your job is to keep soaring high in the sky. You have won many achievements, but there are still many more skies that you need to capture. So we need to capture many more skies. With this confidence, let us move forward from this conference and fulfill the task that this conference will entrust to us. Thank you.